Got a variety of pellets. There's the beast. And I got this from my brother. He wanted to try pellet stove. Purchased it from Tractor Supply. It's the King brand. And he said he didn't like it. I didn't really ask him why. Well, I did ask him why. But he never really gave me a good enough answer. It was just like, I don't know, I just don't like it. And we got to talking and this and that. And then he had some trouble with the stove. He got fed up with it. And he just out of the blue says, would you like to buy it? I'm like, well, I don't even need one. I got forced air at my house. And then he said, would you give me a couple $100 for it? I said, $200? He said, yeah. He said, I'll even throw in the pellets. So here it is. I'm finally in a home where I can make use of it. I'm new to pellet stoves, never had one. So this is basically a review, plus getting to know the functions of the stove, how everything works, how it performs. And let's take a look inside. Here's where you could use a little helping hand. Okay. This little chute here is where the pellets drop down. There's a little auger back there that feeds this chute. And they fall into this little tray. I've got a few pellets ready to light. And it gets air down here from the combustion fan. This here is the igniter that heats up. It's like a glow stick. Heats up right through this little hole here and lights these pellets. At the moment, that glow stick is not working. That was one of the problems my brother had. So I light it manually. Then as it burns, you get ash that builds up on both sides and in here. And when it gets built up enough, it will even lay on the door here, which upsets me. Because every time I open the door to clean the glass, ash falls out on the floor. And I'm like, we can't be having that. I mean, I'm in a basement, no big deal. But I cannot imagine being in a nice, beautiful home, living area, and opening this up and having to put a cloth down each time you clean that window. So that's one complaint already. Also, the glass gets dirty within a 2-hour period, and that's a little upsetting because you want to enjoy the flame, the view. And if it's cloudy, that's not too nice. And another problem, sometimes it gets real dirty. And I've used that method where you get a wet towel, dab it in the ash, and rub on there, and it works well. But majority of the time, I just use glass cleaner. They say this is amazing for the glass. So I bought it. But then I found out just water and newspaper or Windex works just as well. And I've seen some people that remove this bottom seal from corner to corner. They leave just a little bit. And it's called an air wash. It keeps this area cleaner. But this stove is new. It runs well. And it's going to affect the airflow. And I plan on selling the home with this unit intact. So I'm going to leave this seal stock and then let the new owner decide what they'd like to do. So in the beginning, I was enjoying the view. And I'd come down here, hello Cigars, Brandy, just sit back and relax, enjoy the view. But over time, the glass would cloud up and that would put a damper on my enjoyment. And so I'd have to shut the stove down, clean the glass, and repeat. Now, after a while, that got old. So, and I also noticed that the flame is not steady flame like I'd want. It would pulsate, like the fan would draw air, and the flame would go down and then back up, and it was all sporadic. And I thought there was something wrong with the stove. I'll go over that later. So after a while, I lost interest in the visual, and now I view it as a heat-producing beast. So I've got a variety of pellets, and I figured, being new to this, I want to experiment between different brands, different types of wood, hardwood, oak, popular, and This is from Lowe's. It's the Green Team Platinum. And this one is from Lowe's, Green Supreme. Home Depot also has this one. Now these three are all from Tractor Supply. Just recently picked up this, and when they loaded the truck, I noticed I have a power pellet. I've got premium grade fuel pellets here, hardwood, and then I've got a hardwood, and this is from 5 years back. This one is also labeled hardwood, and we're looking for low ash. It seems like every bag says low ash on it. But I'm gonna test all of these and see which one performs best before I buy in bulk. Yeah, we've got some pellets. Pick yourself out one. We'll see how it performs. Good choice. So I already have some Green Supreme in there. Control panel. Here's your heat settings. It's on 5. Lowest. You can hear it feeding pellets. I need to delay the auger. That delays the auger. No more pellets being fed. If you want to cancel it, push on. Here's the room fan. I have that on auto, but you can choose different speeds. Same thing with the draft speed. I have it on auto, different speeds. And then we got auxiliary for some programming. So, let's go with high heat. That should be enough to light it. I keep the torch on there until I get a flame. Close the door soon after because it helps draw. Oh, okay, I can't shut the door the whole way yet, so I'll leave it open slightly. I close the door all the way. The flame wants to go out. And you don't want the flame to go out because it will produce a lot of unnecessary smoke. Okay, this is what I was talking about earlier, where you see the flame get drawn down and then back up. I call it a rolling fan, fluctuating. Draws down and then lets it go. Now I did a lot of research. I thought there was something wrong with the stove. Apparently not. That's how they work. Maybe it has to do with stoking the flame. I assume they've got this stuff figured out for best performance. So here's the view. A little bit too much daylight coming in for some brandy and cigars. See what I can do about that. There you go. Now that's a nice flame. That's burning clean. Now, if that glass would stay that clean, then I'd be happy. Alright, I just went to the low setting, number 1. And right now, the room fan is on high, and that will ratchet down as it cools down. 2 more speeds. then it gets pretty quiet. Although it has a slight hum to it. Wish that could be improved. But on low, you hardly have a fire, and it's a nice low heat, so it doesn't run you out of the room. And the usage of pellets on one is 1.7 pounds per hour, and the highest setting is 4.5 pounds per hour. So you can leave it on the low setting for many hours, especially good for overnight. So that's a nice burn for low. Not much to look at, but it's tolerable watching TV. So here we are 2 hours later. High heat. Condition of the glass, excellent. In fact, it lives up to the label on the bag, Supreme. Low ash, so Green Supreme is a win for Lowe's and Home Depot. Now let's try a different brand of pellets, see how it performs, and then I'll give an overview. Next up, we'll test the Green Team Platinum Premium Grade Pellet, very low ash, exclusively sold at Lowe's. Alright, we got a nice flame going, and what we're looking for is the whiter and brighter the flame, the cleaner the burn. We don't want orange, like right there, there's a little bit orange, but that's a pretty tall fire. That's looking good. Two hours later, high heat, a lot of orange in that flame, but yet the glass is still relatively clear. That's impressive. So I put the stove on the low heat setting and then starved it of pellets to get a better visual of the glass and ash buildup. So Lowe's takes a win with the Green Team. Next up, Pellet Pellet. Feel the power of the pellet. Okay, we got a nice initial flame. Everything's nice and clean, a fresh start. Looks good. I'll let that ramp up. Get another shot. So I've made an adjustment on my camera to see the flame a little better. You see how orange that is? That's not good. And I have my combustion blower on auto, so I need to ramp that up to take care of that orangeness. You want a clean burn like the bottom of the flame, you want it nice and white. It's got some lazy tips there. That's pretty good there, but it gets lazy as the fan cycles. So we'll be back in 2 hours, see the condition. 2 hour time lapse. Alright, let's shut down the stove. That's looking pretty dirty. Let's take a closer look. Not too bad for ash buildup. Burn box doesn't look too dirty. Close up of the ash and burn box. However, the door is pretty filthy. A chalkboard sound. Sorry guys. So let me clean that up, and then here is the debris, the ash I was talking about that lays on the bottom of the door and falls onto your floor. That also looks like creosote buildup, which is a no-no. Wow. That cleaned right up fairly easy. Maybe that wasn't creosote, I'm not sure, but it was a darker burn on the glass than all the other pellets. Alright, ready for our next burn? So I just dumped this bag in. And noticed it looks like all debris. There's hardly a pellet in there. It's almost all dust. When you have a pellet, you want a nice snap. And that just falls apart like cardboard. Here's the initial flame. Looks alright. A little small. Hope that ramps up. Hope it doesn't jam up my auger. That stuff was rough. Look at that. So it's only been a half an hour. This product never even ramped up. And with that much debris, more than likely it's going to jam up my auger. So I put it back in the bag. I'm going to take it back to Tractor Supply, see what they can do for me. At minimum, give me a new bag. But for my inconvenience, give me 5 bags. Right? So I'm going to replace that with this one here. It's also Green Supreme, but it's the Blue Ridge blend. 100% all natural wood. Check the snap on that pellet. It had a little snap to it, not much. So we got a much cleaner burn with the Blue Ridge blend, Green Supreme, and instead of waiting 2 hours, I'm just going to wrap this up and do a review of all the products. Alrighty, we'll start with this one. So Tractor Supply was kind enough to replace that bad bag of pellets, and I was unable to do a full burn on this one because of the condition of the pellets. Upon inspection, this new bag, the pellets are inconsistent in size, a lot of sawdust in there, debris. So for those reasons, I'm going to eliminate this fuel from the lineup. So in the first category, we're looking at BTU output. They all exceeded 500 degrees. Second category, we're going to look at price, and I'm going to round this number down. So we got these two from Tractor Supply and the one I eliminated from the mix at $6 per bag. Then we got the Green Team, $8. These two Green Supremes, $7. Next category, Low Ash. In my opinion, there wasn't enough difference between the burns on all these bags to make a comment. So then we're going to look at which one burned the cleanest. And this one right here was purchased from Tractor Supply over 5 years ago. But if you can find that, that's a good burn in all categories. It's not available at my local Tractor Supply. The Power Pellet, that one there, the flame was a bit too orange, and I adjusted the airflow several times trying to clean that up without success. And at times, you could see black smoke rolling off the flame tips. And there was a lot of soot on the front glass. And if you got soot on the front glass, it's going to be throughout the rest of the stove components. Combustion blower, exhaust stack. So I'm going to label this one as an econo buy. Which brings us to these three right here. Now, there wasn't enough difference in burn to comment here as well. They all performed well. And I'm going to choose this one. But of course, if this one's not available, I'm going to choose this one because they're in the same price category. This is $1 more, so if you're buying a pellet, that's a $50 savings over these. Now, I'm sure there's even cleaner quality pellets on the market, but I'm not willing to pay $3 to $6 more per bag. I would rather monitor the stove and clean as needed and save hundreds and hundreds of dollars versus getting the super clean hardwood pellets. Another aspect, majority of these pellets are listed as hardwood, except these two. This one's premium plus and premium wood, so maybe it's a mix of wood. And some pellet companies add glues and additives to get the pellet to pack tight, but you can never go wrong when you're using 100% all natural wood. So I've covered a lot of cons throughout this video. A few more things I'd like to point out. With a pellet stove, there's a lot of moving parts. You got the auger feed, the igniter, the combustion blower, room fan, a lot of sensors. And eventually, one or more of them are going to fail, so they will have to be addressed. Also, if you lose power, you can no longer use the stove unless you have a generator. Unlike an old school wood stove, they don't require any power. And even with the newer higher efficiency wood stoves that have the catalyst or the combustion blower, they will still perform with no power. They just won't burn as efficient. Some other benefits with wood stoves, if you get your wood for free or you put the word out in the neighborhood, hey, I'll cut that tree down if I get the wood for free, or someone gives you a pile of pallets, chop them up for kindling. For the pros, on a pellet stove, they're much cleaner to operate versus a wood stove. You don't get as much ash. They're very efficient. This one comes with a remote. You can also have a wall thermostat, so everything's on auto. You can control the heat as needed. You can purchase pellets on a skid, so it's a space saver, nice and clean storage. Cleaner to load. You don't have to split wood, stack wood, all that good stuff. The number one positive thing that I like about a pellet stove is if you have a home or purchased a home that doesn't have a chimney, you can pipe these straight out the wall. So I got my stash. Home Depot had my pellet of choice. This is 50 bags per skid, $349, $7.28 per bag, 40-pound bags. This should last a couple months. I'd like to thank everyone for watching. Hope this has helped someone. And in the next video, I'll show how to replace that igniter